Okay, so this is going to be part 5 to What If Deku Had Ball Manipulation. I am reposting and redoing this part because the YouTuber Katsumi, uh, hmm, crap, I forgot his second part of his name. I'm sorry, I just got home from work and I just got done showering. I haven't eaten, I have a burger and fries right next to me. I had to take down the part 5 through 8 because he shortened my intro to 10 seconds and told me that I should use that because of copyright claim so I don't get copyrighted. So I tried listening to his advice and editing those videos, but my phone wouldn't let me and I had to delete the files and try and re-edit them again. That didn't work, so I am just deleting them and redoing them. Because now that I actually do have this chance, I have more room to work with than what I originally had. Okay, so in the last part, I just went over it on my phone. We had Deku fighting against the Nomu and finding out All Might's secret. Now then, over the past 2 weeks before the sports festival, because they got that break, Deku and Jiro, she would appreciate that Deku actually helped them hold off the Nomu and do all this, and actually be amazed at Deku's power. And she would ask Deku why he doesn't use 100% all the time. Deku would explain that how whenever he was fighting the Nomu, how the bone defect he was talking about on the bus comes into play when using his quirk. If he does go to 100%, his bones do start fusing together. It is one drawback to his quirk that he needs to work on. And she would kind of find this weird because she hasn't seen a quirk like that. But she'd find it interesting. Ooh, actually, I can do that. That's great. Ooh, I'm gonna have to find out their name. Crap. In the UA Year One that I'm a part of, someone had a character whose quirk was similar to Jiro's. Ah, crap. I'm gonna have to find out their name and ask them. Well, actually, I can still do it because it's not. Ah, crap. I don't want to do it, but I really want to. I don't want to do it because I don't want to like. Uh, yeah, I guess I can do it. I'm not technically stealing their character, but I can mention them by name. Um, I can do that in the next part. I just really see how Geo never thought about doing that with her quirk. Anyway, so Deku and Jiro they'd meet up at 6 o'clock at Dagobah Beach, where Deku cleaned it up at, and they would start training. Deku would begin to harden parts of his body until Jiro would blast him. Jill would ask, confusingly, why doesn't he just harden his whole body? Deku would explain that that would be going around 90 to 100% of his power whenever he does. So that's why he only does that 60 to 80% and harden only half of it. So she would kind of explain to Deku that Kirishima kind of does the same thing with his quirk, but he hardens his whole body. So Deku should just try keeping it up as much as he can. He would listen to Jiro, but he'd tell her that if that's the case, then he'll do that, but she needs to take a little bit of advice from him with her quirk then. So she'd kind of get a little mad at this, but she'd understand that she's giving him pointers and he wants to try and give her pointers. So she would ask what Deku's talking about. He said that he'll try and keep his quirk on as long as he can, or he'll try and Deku can just turn it on, his hardening ability, like harden an arm, and leave it on for as long as he wants to, really. But Deku says that he most of the time, whenever he's not at school, he does keep his body hardened to try and help train it, and he can keep his body hardened for up to an entire day straight if he wanted to, at 80%. And Deku would tell Jiro that she needs to blast him as much as she can with her quirk using One for All. Jiro doesn't understand what he means by this, and he says that she remembers mentioning that she doesn't like using One for All because what she did to her arm that one time. And she would tell Deku and explain to him that she broke her arm training with All Might whenever All Might told her to throw a smash 100% at, let's say they were at a different beach, at this beach. Because Dagobah was already cleaned, and I'm pretty sure another beach could be dirty. But that happened, and she had to go visit Recovery Girl. So Deku suggests the idea that just do what he does with a quirk. Try and power it up through your body, but try and let the power flow through your body, like how music or water flows, because you can get a good groove. Joe would be confused, but as soon as Deku mentions the way music would flow, she'd understand exactly what he means. So she would do that, and she'd start producing the. Let's call it purple lightning. Let's call it purple lightning because Deku had green. All Might doesn't have lightning. Let's call it purple lightning because her hair is purple, so it would make sense because Deku's hair is green. Ow! That is what 1,000 needles in your lungs feels like. I am glad I have asthma and I am not a smoker. Anyway, alright, I have time. He would do this, and she would start blasting him. And as soon as she does blast him, she knocks him back. All you hear is like almost like a sonic boom, just a giant boom for a second, like less than a second. No one really pays attention to this because, well, really it was like it didn't last very long. It was just half a second and then gone. Deku would have been sent back 40 to 50 feet, flying away nearly, and creating nearly like one of those drag craters in the ground. And when that happens, Jiro would run over to him and try and help him up after falling over on her ass and kind of doing something like that. Oh, crap. I don't know if I should swear in these videos. Eh, I get one. PG-13. Okay, back to it. So she would run over to Deku and ask him if he's okay. He tells her that next time, dial it back a bit more. Because he looks kind of more like that. He looks more like this right now with his quirk. Like a bit more whitened. Like, whitened sounds incredibly bad to say. Crap. I don't know the right way to phrase this without sounding bad. He looks more porcelain. That's better, I want to say. Because. Okay, I'm going to say porcelain. Yeah. Because Kirishima's body, he makes those lines. I know in the manga there's another transformation for him. But he would be like that. And after that, Deku, he would tell her that that was a bit too hard and to let him get some footing before she does that again. She says again that hurt her arms a lot doing that. And Deku would say just power it up less. Let it flow more. Let get the get the flow correct. Like you're emphasizing too much on a B flat when you should be using a D to help smoothen out and even out the melody. She kind of understand this, and start. Deku would start hardening his body more, up to 80%, and kind of last himself into the ground. And whenever he does do this, Jiro would blast Deku with her quirk, but Deku would say that if she's not able to keep her footing, try using her sound waves in her feet with One for All. So she would use that, and since it's basically her heartbeat that the sound generates from, let's say her quirk can get flow through her blood, because that's still a pulse. So the nerves in her feet are actually where the sound waves are coming from, where you can actually feel a pulse from. So she would do that, and she'd start hovering over the ground, a bit like May during the sports festival. And after that, she would start blasting Deku more and more and more, with the sound waves while trying to hover more to help train this new part of her quirk. And she would do that. It would be, let's see, 6 hours. That they started at 6 a.m., so 6 hours. Hmm. Let's call it 6 p.m., around half a day, and they're still sitting on the beach. Deku would say that they should take a break and call it quits for the day. And he would tell her that he'll be right back. Because this was just day one. And they were training themselves to hell. I already used that. I already used my one pass. Think crap. Well, now. Hmm. Deku would tell her he'll be right back, and let's say they're sitting on the stairs, exhausted, because Jiro actually powered up a lot with a quirk. She actually came leaps and bounds with where she would if she was training with All Might, because Deku has kind of the same situation with his quirk that she does, and that makes it better for training partners because they have flaws each other can help improve by more knowledge. They fill in each other's gaps. That sounds like an innuendo. Oh god, I just put that in your guys' minds. I'm sorry. The gaps of knowledge. Like, oh, I don't know the answer to this problem, but I know the answer to this problem you have, and you know the answer to this other problem I have. So we both don't know the answer to this problem, but we can come up with it together. That's what I mean. So they'd be doing that, and they'd be training more and more and more. And Deku comes back with probably a sandwich. Not the company I was gonna say, because I don't know if just saying them can get me copyrighted. But I'm not gonna take a chance because I know if you say a certain soda brand, you can get copyrighted. Both of them, they're big brands, and they like to hit the copyright button on anything that has their even company name in it. Yay, corporations. God, some old. But he'd essentially come back with a sandwich, quite a big one. Like an Italian sub, kinda. But it's more, uh, yeah, he'd come back with a Subway sandwich and a gallon of milk. Jiro kind of asked him why he has an entire gallon of milk. And he would tell her that one way he did train his quirk is when he was younger, the defect that he has been suffering from was a lot worse and bigger, closer to his mom's. But over the years, just training his quirk, he actually got better to the point where it started infecting him less and less and less. But that's whenever he doesn't use his quirk. So Deku would start eating some of the Subway sandwich and he would start chugging the milk. Deku would actually, Jill would kind of start laughing at this and saying, "What? Are you gonna drink that whole thing by yourself?" And Deku just would just raise up a thumb and say, as in, "Yes, yes, I am." And he would start chugging it. Jill would be kind of surprised that he's already halfway through it, and she just start chanting "chug, chug, chug" as much as she can. And Deku gets 3/4 of the way through it before coughing and like spitting out a bit of a mouthful of milk. He would say he has gotten better because he's only been able to get halfway through, but it's still hard to chug an entire gallon because I know if you chug an entire gallon, well, I know it was in a post or fact about it, but Captain America, he can't drink, he can't really get intoxicated because he would have to drink over an entire gallon of alcohol, like Brent beer, to become intoxicated. But by the time he would drink a gallon, his stomach would burst open. So that kind of sucks. Anyway, so she'd laugh at Deku and they'd have kind of a moment. They would both kind of be sitting next to each other, so they'd kind of blush and move away from each other. After that, they would start training this way for the next couple of days. Jiro would be working on moving around with her new technique to move faster. And after that, they would start training more and more and more. Deku would be able to help Jiro get up to 15 to 20% of one for all. And another way he would help strengthen his quirk is he would harden his entire body up to 82% and 85% because he essentially, whenever his bones, all over his skin start to crack, he would get them to crack. He would almost get them to the point where his cork would break, and he would repair it over and over and over throughout the day. But he would be wearing earmuffs because we don't need a deaf Deku. And now then. So they do that, and it's all normal. And Deku's, by the end of the 2 weeks, Deku and Jiro, they're able to. Deku's at 90 to 95% of his power, and he looks more like this, but the bones seem leaner and more towards his body. Like they lay down more. Like the ones on his back actually overloop around to his shoulders and come down to the bones by this tattoo right here. But Deku doesn't have the tattoo or look like this character. This is a guy from Naruto, if I'm correct. I am very sleep deprived, have had 4 hours of sleep, and have shotgunned 2 cups of coffee at work that I paid for, each costing $3. And out of a, I have never had actually realized this, but I've never had coffee out of a bottle. Like it's square milk box basically. Oh god, I am getting old. Existential crisis. Ow. Oh. But after that, Deku and Jiro, on their last day of training, they would learn something that they can both do. It's a shared ability, kinda. While she's hovering probably 5 or 10 feet off the ground, with her quirk, Deku could actually he would create giant tubes of bone coming out of the bottom of his feet, and after that, he would not like that. That was the original picture. He would start coming up off the ground, almost like on those giant stilts. And since Deku actually trained his quirk more and more and more, he has been able to use about he's at 95% to 96. And he is cautious about trying to power himself up to 100 because the last time he tried doing it during the training, his elbow fused together, and he had to use his quirk to fix it because he can still do that. You can redirect the bone that's fused together, the calcium around it. You can essentially strip it away, like how Shigaraki can, kind of like how Shigaraki's quirk is, crap, I don't remember the name of this quirk. Cremation. No, wait, that's the name of Dobby's quirk. Dab on haters. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was there. It was there, and I'm tired. So Deku would essentially he'd do that. He'd break down the area with his quirk and fix his arm. So he'd do that, and let's cut to the sports festival in the next part. So yeah, I'm gonna be uploading that and redoing that all today or tomorrow. So yeah,